Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, October 20th. This morning's visible satellite imagery shows clear skies except for eastern and southern Utah, where clouds are rotating back in with that pesky low pressure area just off to our east in Colorado. It's going to bring in more clouds and possibly some more showers this afternoon there. Otherwise, drying out in most other areas. We see that low pressure area on this larger infrared view with this counterclockwise rotation pushing in. Clear skies across most of the rest of the Great Basin, but there is a fairly strong cold front now pushing in and approaching the Pacific Northwest. We'll probably miss most of its precipitation, but we will see some wind with it as we go into early next week. See that on the impact map today. We have those leftover showers over eastern areas. We'll be on the drier side of that frontal passage on Monday and Tuesday, so maybe a brief shower right along the Salmon River Monday, but otherwise winds coming in, a good wind test after the recent rains and snows that we've had in a lot of our incidents up north. A lot of gusts getting up 30, maybe even close to 40 miles an hour. Humidity not bone dry in our areas of large fires in Idaho and Wyoming, but 25 to 30% should give us a good feel for what we have out there in case we have any wind. Lingering winds, Wyoming on Tuesday, maybe even a isolated snow shower up north as colder air pushes in behind the front. Had some spotty precip in the far south and east, very light amounts, no lightning. New fire starts in the red, just a few small fires we typically get this time of year, quarter acre type stuff. Precip over the past 7 days on the left. You see the areas in green are a half inch to an inch of rainfall. Areas in yellow are up to 2 inches of rainfall. So the heaviest fell in Utah. We did have moderate amounts up in Idaho. There were some islands that were missed in the central Snake River Plain. So we'll keep an eye on those areas. But otherwise, everyone has gotten moistened out. You see the fuels responded. We do have a little pocket here right along the edge of the mountains in the central Idaho on the southern edge of the northern Sawtooth, where ERCs are still in the 70th plus percentile. We're not sure if this is station error or just maybe climatologically some of the showers missed those small areas, but in the areas of our large incidents, everything is pushed down to near or even below normal seasonal levels. So upper level map for this afternoon, there's that low pressure area near the Four Corners, counterclockwise flow rotating in some of those waves of clouds and moisture along with cooler temperatures. There's our next front pushing into the Pacific Northwest. You see our 7-day, not much issues going on. Everyone is in the benign green. Minimum humidities up in Idaho and Wyoming, anywhere from the low 30% range to the mid 40s, slightly higher in Utah where we could have showers, and somewhat drier, especially along the Sierra front where we see some teens. Winds overall very light today. Now, the winds are going to change tomorrow. Strong cold front approaches in the north. You see the tight packing of these height lines. You see some of these wind barbs here, 50, 55 knots at the upper levels. So our conditions are still low because of the sogginess of the fuels. And with that front, so a couple of things. We do see very strong winds. The oranges to purples are 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. But also keep an eye on the humidity. So up in Idaho, in the parts of the central Idaho mountains, the driest it gets is around 33%, and other areas further north are closer to 60%. So it'll dry things out. There'll be high overcast clouds and maybe even a spotty shower up by the Salmon River. We'll see how that plays out, but it's drier in western Nevada. So some of those areas coming off the Sierra front, sometimes we get those surprises of downslope winds pushing down towards Reno. We'll have to watch that. Otherwise, that front pushes through. Still maybe a little windy up in Wyoming. Otherwise, general high pressure starting to build in. Next low pressure area well offshore. You see those winds still gusty in Wyoming, but diminishing everywhere else. Humidity above 40% in the north where we have a lot of our incidents. Driest areas as you would expect further south and west. So 3-day precipitation totals continuing to moisten things down in eastern Utah with another couple hundredths to maybe a tenth of an inch, and maybe a couple hundredths of an inch in the far northern reaches of the Payette and the Salmon Chalice. Otherwise, we see warming and drying. Wednesday, high pressure builds in, so big warming, drying trend, and that continues on Thursday. Temperatures going up above normal, And Friday, we'll be watching a developing frontal system and really getting going and forming up off the coast. On Saturday, maybe a tropical storm or hurricane off the Baja coast, but we're going to be about maybe 10 degrees, 15 degrees above normal under high pressure, nice fair conditions, but just a very slow, gradual response on our 7 day due to the days and days of long duration, moderate moisture. The 7 day precip totals, most of this falls in the first 2 days, otherwise will be dry, but the 8 to 14 day outlook continues to show cooler than normal temperatures and wetter than normal conditions. So I think we're looking good for getting rid of our fire season and going into prescribed fire season. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.